Today I'm going to be starting something new. Something that I really enjoy watching here on YouTube is Reddit readings. So I'm going to start doing Reddit readings of my own, and hopefully I'll come across posts that aren't posted everywhere, so it'll be new and fresh for you all. Anyways, let's get into it. Today we are doing Am I the Asshole, because it's a very popular one and it has the best stories. And the one we're starting with is, am I the asshole for evicting my deceased brother's fiancée? My brother passed away recently and he had a live-in partner, fiancée. Both of my parents have passed and so did my sister, so that leaves me being his next of kin. The house my brother lived in was my grandparents' house. He purchased it in 2021 after they passed away. We grew up in that house and I have a massive connection to that home. It's the only thing I have left of my family. I'm the only one left. Since I'm next of kin, I inherited the house. I offered his partner, let's say his name is Steve, that he could continue to live there if he said the mortgage and the property taxes. No, if he paid the mortgage and the property taxes. I'm terrible at reading, by the way. Similar to renting, Steve said he couldn't afford it and asked for me to sell instead. He requested information on the kind of profits he would be receiving inheriting from the house. I told him even if he wasn't living there, I inherited the house, I won't be selling and he won't be inheriting any money from it. He demanded that I sell and that he would take me to court over inheritance. I pleaded to his sensibilities. This was my family home. He was my only connection to my brother left and he refused. So I offered to pay for an apartment for him for a year, since I'm also my brother's named life insurance beneficiary. Steve demanded everything, including the life insurance, despite me telling him I'm named. I told him he wasn't getting anything and he needed to leave my family house after he threatened to take me to court a second time. He refused, so I filed for eviction. Am I the asshole? And we have an edit here as well that I'm going to get into right now. I was also told to add to my post, Steve and my brother were together for 6 years, engaged for 2 prior to his death. My brother and I had talked a few months before his death about how sure they were engaged, but he was probably never going to get married. Not sure if this was due to new administration and concerns about how the same-sex marriage law may change, or if their relationship was rocky. 1 year prior to my brother's death, he got a new job and named me as his life insurance beneficiary. After they were already engaged, common law doesn't exist in my state and Steve never paid into the house at all. My brother paid all of their bills. I paid the mortgage on my family home for the last year and just recently talked to Steve after the estate went through probate. I can't afford to pay both mortgages regularly. My opinion, not the asshole. And I think that's the general consensus as well. I think Steve is being very pushy and he has no rights to the house and no rights to anything to do with his deceased fiancée because he's not the named beneficiary. So legally and morally he has no standing here. Steve is the asshole, not OP. Let's get into some top comments. Not the asshole. If your brother had wanted his partner to inherit his home or life insurance policy, he would have named him as a beneficiary, like I said. Don't give Steve anything, proceed with the eviction, but make sure you are running everything past a lawyer. Let Steve take you to court if he wants. Another top comment. Right, the fact that brother got a new job 1 year ago, coincidentally also 1 year into being engaged to Steve and still named his sibling as the sole beneficiary, that says a lot about his intentions towards Steve. Even during the engagement with an alleged betrothal on the table, brother was intentional that he still wanted his sibling to be the sole beneficiary of his biggest assets. Yeah, that's feeds into what I said too. He wanted the sibling to inherit things, so Steve has no standing. Okay. Sorry, it takes a while to scroll. Right, I think that's all for that post. The next one is, am I the asshole for telling my wife she doesn't live here? My wife and I have been struggling for months now. Her mum died and her dad needs full-time care that the family can't afford. They are trying to get him qualified for assistance, but in the meantime she moved home to take care of her dad. I couldn't afford the rent on the apartment and full-time childcare without both our incomes, and she had quit her job, so I moved in with my sister. My sister is single and has 3 dogs. Her house, well, it smells like dog. Her house is a 3-bedroom, but she uses one of the rooms for storage, so my son and I share a room. She is a flexitarian and she doesn't want certain foods in her house. It's not an ideal living situation, but my son loves the dogs and she helps me with childcare in addition to giving me free lodging, so I'm not complaining. My wife's sister took a trip to their dad's to watch him for a week so my wife could come home and see us, which actually means coming to my sister's because we don't have a home. She has been here for 3 days and she has not stopped complaining about the smell of the dogs or the fact that my sister won't clean out the storage room for our son. Earlier this evening, she complained about not being able to buy beef and I asked her to please stop. She asked if I was asking her to stop talking. I said no, and that I was asking her to stop complaining. She said that the conditions are unlivable. I said, but you don't live here, so why do you care? She is crying in the room while I am stuck in the living room with our son. She said I accused her of abandoning the family, which isn't what I said, but that isn't even the point. I understand she can't abandon her dad to waste away and die, but this situation is because of her family, and my family is helping. And I feel like she's so damn ungrateful. I know that's an uncharitable way to feel about one's wife, but she hasn't thanked my sister at all and is starting to piss me off. And that's the original post. Initially, I don't think this person's the asshole. They're doing the best they can with the circumstances that they've been dealt. The wife, she has a right to complain a little bit, but if all she's doing is constantly complaining, then she's not a good person and she's the asshole. Anyway, there's an update. Thank you for the advice. I asked my wife to come get breakfast with me this morning. She said we couldn't afford it, but I told her she needed a break. And Denny's won't bankrupt us. She was reluctant, but I convinced her. When we were there, she tried to get our son to eat a sausage and he said, yuck. And her expression was so sour I knew it wasn't going to be able to avoid a fight. She went on a tirade about my sister, trying to tell her that toddlers think everything is yuck at one point or another. Last month, carrots were yuck. She insisted it was my sister's fault. I asked her not to go back. I wanted to wait until she was in a better mood to ask, but that ship had sailed. I asked her to stay and try to get her old job back and for us to get a new apartment. I said she has been caretaking for her dad for months and it's her sister's turn and then her brother should take a turn. She said they won't. I said if she doesn't go back, they will have to. She said she isn't even sure her old boss would rehire her. I said all she can do is ask. She said that we will think about it. She went for a walk when we got back, so that's where we are right now. Yeah, the wife is a bit of an asshole, but she's dealing with frustrating circumstances as well, having to care for her dad. It's obviously gonna exhaust her, but she shouldn't be complaining about every little thing given the circumstances she's had to put her husband in. Top comments. Has your wife applied to be a family caregiver? Several states will pay some wages. It may not make up for your wife's lost income, but could help. I didn't even consider that. Like, in England we have this thing called carers allowance, which is when you're caring for family you get a certain amount of money for caring for them, because then the state doesn't have to care for them. And I'm guessing there's a similar thing in the USA, going by this comment. Not the asshole. I think you and your wife are under immense strain and it's not bringing out the best in you. Better to take a breath and say something like, I love you and I absolutely know you need to be there for your father and I'm willing to be flexible for that because it's important, but it's the same for me. I need you to be flexible about my sister who is making it possible for us to keep on going while you take care of your father. That feeds into what I was saying as well, that they're both under immense pressure from the circumstances they've found themselves in. So it's a very difficult situation, and open communication is going to be the best thing forward here. But it will probably come to more arguments. The thing is, couples do argue sometimes. It's the way things are, sadly. Okay, the next post is, am I the asshole for not wanting to drop out of college to pay my parents' bills? Mom refuses to work. My relationship with my parents, especially my mom, has always been difficult. She's emotionally dismissive, often mocks me and my sister and gets angry if we react or are not constantly positive. When we try to talk about respect, she says we're not entitled to opinions and laughs in our faces. There's basically no boundaries at home. Since we live under her roof, we're constantly reminded that nothing we have is really ours, and saying no isn't an option without it turning into a fight. I work full-time and pay out of pocket for the last few courses I needed to be CPA eligible. This has made my mum angry. She hasn't worked since 2006 and refuses to look for a job, but expects me and my sister to help cover bills now that my dad's hours were cut. Bills are falling behind and we're being pressured to step in while she insists it's her house but won't contribute financially. TLDR, I'm finally in a job related to my career and have been told I'll be promoted once I finish my courses. My mum wants me to drop out and help pay the mortgage instead. Given our history, I'm struggling to agree to that. So OP is focusing on their studies and they're in a good job and it's what they want to do, and their mum's pressuring them to not do that. So the mum here is the asshole, and I don't think OP is the asshole, because if it's her house, her rules, she has to take care of the house. It doesn't just work that you force your children to pay for the house since they're grown-ups now. You have to take responsibility for what's yours, and she's not taking responsibility here, which is really frustrating. Anyways, we have an update. Thank you to everyone that's responded. My sister and I feel better knowing that we're not crazy. We're in a situation where our mom has turned all our extended family against us. She's convinced them we're liars and manipulators, so unfortunately reaching out to them for help isn't an option. My sister and I do help pay bills, clean, give them extra cash and buy groceries, necessities for the family. I let them use my car when I'm off work and have recently offered to purchase them a cheap car so both parents have one. This made my mum super angry and she put the conversation down. We try to help out as much as we can, it's just never enough. Oh my. This just makes me so upset, to be honest, and I feel like if I start ranting and raving then it's never going to end. So let's get into some top comments. This is the type of parent you move a flight away from. Don't sacrifice your future for her. She needs to get a job instead of trying to ruin your future. Not the asshole. Not the asshole at all, but you need to get away from her. Move out. As long as it's safe, it'll do. You can't be dependent on her in any way and she cannot have physical access to your belongings. Yeah. I didn't even consider this, but that's why it's useful to read the comments. And I think that's all for now. I do have another story in my saved. but I think I'll save that for next time. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more, because I really want to get into Reddit reading because I really enjoy watching them. So that's it from me. Have a good day, good week, good month, good year, and I'll see you in the next one.